Okay folks, welcome back to MOXY Marketing's channel and to the series called Understanding Marketing. Today's video is called Ducks in a Row. So just before we get started, please make sure that you've completed the tasks from the preceding video, Laying Foundations, as this series is designed to build on your knowledge as we progress through each video, adding to earlier pieces. Here we continue on from the work that you've put into defining and creating your mission, your vision and your values. Now we move these into the next major planning phase, and it's a deep dive. I've called this video Ducks in a Row because of the alignment that is required when we work with objectives, strategies and tactics that will be the focus for your, not just for this video, but for your everyday activities. Yes, these are the ducks. Quack, quack. Objectives, strategies, tactics. They need to be clearly articulated, focused and aligned from the top to the bottom, and they also need to work together from the bottom up so that every tactic is linked to serving its strategy, and each strategy clearly aligns with the objective it seeks to achieve. There can be no stray activities which are outside of this framework, no tactics or actions which do not directly serve your objectives. So how does it look when it comes together and you've got your ducks in a row? Let me just see. Apologies for the hand-drawn diagrams, but at the time of filming this, Auckland, New Zealand is currently in a level 4 total lockdown, while an outbreak of COVID-19 Delta variant is being managed and eliminated. So bear with. So here it is, and we can see clearly that we have the mission, the vision, the values are up here, and they feed directly down into the strategies, the objectives. The objectives are what you want to achieve, and that feeds into the strategies and which is how you'll do what you want to do, and they feed into your tactic or your action plan. Okay. Up here we have the mission, the vision and the values, and they are expressed through the objectives, through the strategies, through the tactics, and back on up. Just take a minute to take it in. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so the good thing about planning mode, which I call giving it some headspace, while you think it all through and discuss it with your team or your partners, you maybe argue over the best options, as you get it all sorted, you're creating a blueprint for your business activities, which you then schedule throughout the year. Love a good year planner. You'll always know where you are up to and be able to prepare for what's coming next. Importantly, you'll be able to allocate all of your resources to carrying out your plan. Corporate finance often refers to this as stratics, but we don't need to go there for small businesses. Okay. Other resources apart from budget would include staff, time, vehicles, other equipment, etc., etc. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? We have a lot to cover in this video, so let us get on. Starting with our dear friends' objectives. A moment or two on syntax before we begin. We can use the words objective or goal interchangeably, pretty much dependent on your own preference. Personally, I prefer to use objectives. However, either is fine, and Oxford Dictionary bears this out, should you wish to look it up. So, the purpose of establishing objectives for your business is that they address your mission or purpose, and your vision, and must only be aligned with your values. They must embody or express them. This is why you can't effectively start here first without putting those in place. So if you need to, please go back to the video called Laying Foundations, which is linked below. When establishing your objectives, you begin paving the way towards the future that you've envisaged for your business, which is your stated vision. While these objectives may relate to more than one aspect of your business, like HR or finance, most company objectives will relate to marketing in some form. Getting clarity on your objectives. Let me just go back to that. Most will be related to marketing. And why is that? Because most businesses, in fact, all businesses, are essentially marketing companies. They exist to take their products and services to the marketplace. They exist to make money through transactions, through selling those business services or products. So that's why most of your objectives will relate to marketing. So getting clarity with your objectives is imperative, and following the SMART formula, SMART is abbreviation, the SMART formula will help you to create this clarity. So let's just go through these briefly now. Specific, a clear statement of precisely what is required or expected. Use verbs. For example, and it's just an example, make regular contact with your important or key account clients. The term regular is much too vague, so let's get more specific. Make contact with 5 key accounts every morning before lunch. Now you've established the specific number of clients that you will contact, which is 5, and the specific frequency, daily, and the specific time period, morning, for this job. Measurable is the M in SMART, to enable you to measure the progress so you know when your objective has been reached or not. This is where the key performance indicators, or KPIs, come in. Each objective needs to have 1 or 2 key performance indicators so that you can evaluate your progress. I suggest that you review your progress on your objectives both monthly and quarterly. Okay, so here is the little objectives sheet. So each objective has its corresponding key performance indicators. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 2 objectives, and each one has its KPIs. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't need to be complicated. It can be quite easy, but it's important that you have them. No point having an objective that you cannot measure. Okay, the A in SMART stands for achievable. So we design objectives to be challenging, but ensure that they are achievable. Wild and unreachable objectives can become very demoralizing and very demotivating for those who are tasked with them. To ensure your commitment to your objectives, they should be discussed, even debated, and agreed on between managers and employees. There's no point in setting a sales growth target of 5% if your economy is still in recession. This would be neither realistic nor achievable. A brief word here on bonuses. Personally, I think they should be linked to the achievement of company objectives, not to short-term financial goals, which may not always be aligned to the overall business objectives. But do not get me on that soapbox because we will be here all day. Okay, SMART, the R is for realistic or relevant, depending on your situation, and focused on outcomes. The means of achieving them comes later in the strategy and tactical sections. Say you want to reduce company debt by 50%. However, COVID restrictions have limited your sales income and you might not be able to sustain this. This objective would need to be modified to a figure which takes into account your current financial and broader economic considerations. Perhaps a debt reduction of 20% would be more realistic to a more realistic objective. Okay, and finally, the T in SMART is for timed, a date or time frame for outcomes to be achieved. And just kind of let them drift on and to the never never. It must be nailed down with a time frame or a date. Do your objectives cover the next 6 months, sort of a July to December time frame? Are you setting objectives for the financial year from May this year to April next year? There may be major company objectives which need to be achieved over a longer time frame, say the 3 to 5 year period. By breaking them down into yearly objectives, you can build steadily towards the success that you've aimed for. And that's the way you do it. You can't, some things that are really big, you just have to do in bite-sized chunks, and that's okay. Okay, so don't have too many objectives. 2 to 3 is good, 5 tops. The reason for limiting these is that you have limited resources, including time, manpower, and budget to allocate to achieving them all. So identify the most important ones and focus on those. Focus everything on those. In management terminology, this is known as management by objectives, or MBO. It is very effective, and I've used it successfully in my own management career. As you link the objectives to the strategies and then down to the tactics, you create seamless links that began with the mission, can't get my tongue around those today, the mission, the vision, and the value statements. And these are carried through all aspects and provide both the clarity and focus so that everyone knows what they are doing and why. Over time, it's really satisfying to see the progress that you're making towards achieving your objectives. Very satisfying. This process may also show you things that you're doing which are not aligned to reaching your current objectives. They might have been aligned to achieving things of the past, but they might not be in sync with what you're wanting to do now. So either stop doing them or bring them into line so that they serve the objective strategy dynamic. There can be no stray activities, no distractions which are not linked through this model. That model. All of your resources must be brought into alignment to achieving your stated goals. Everything focuses in on them. Clarity, focus, and discipline. Okay, I think that's a lot on objectives, probably more than enough to get started with. So let's look at what I've drawn up. So just briefly over here, we've got objectives, and I've just put in one objective for simplicity's sake. One objective, 3 key performance indicators, KPIs, so you can know what if you've achieved them. With a marketing and a finance and a staff strategies down here, marketing, finance, and staff. And through there, we're linked now to the actions and the tactics below these, and each of these relate to one of these directly. And these relate to that. So it works top down and bottom up. Everything is in alignment. Okay, so before we get cracking on strategies, if you are receiving value from this video and enjoying it, I would like for you to please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because that would be very helpful in supporting the channel and in supporting MOXY Marketing. Thank you very much. In anticipation, below. Subscribe. Thank you. Strategies. While the objectives outline what you want to achieve, the strategy addresses how you will do this. So strategy is the next step in getting your plan together, while considering and directing your available resources. There are many types of generic marketing strategies that can be deployed in a variety of situations. Some of these are, one of these is called Porter's generic strategies, which relates to positioning against your competitors in the marketplace. So there's 4 of these. One is called low cost generic strategy, which is where you get your wholesale retailers, your $2 shop sort of things. The second one is best value, which is not the same as low cost, but focuses on value for money, whether that's medium value for money or whether that's high-end value for money. It's best value. Third generic strategy there is differentiation, which is making your products or services different from those of competitors. And the last one is specific focus or specialization. So that can be either specialisation of products or services or specialisation of industry sectors that you serve. So you may serve perhaps the education sector or the medical sector, that sort of thing. That would be an example. Okay, so see the Wikipedia link below for more information on that. There are also generic business development or growth strategies, which are important and relevant to all businesses. So here we use a model called the Ansoff Matrix, which was developed by Professor Igor Ansoff, who was an early founder of strategic management practices. I'll just quickly show you that one. It's very simply drawn up, and one that I am using in my own business is this one down here. This is good. They're all good. It's quite simple. It's very thought-provoking and very, very useful for getting your ideas kind of in place. Quite brilliant, actually. Okay, there's also a Wikipedia link to the Ansoff Matrix in the description box below, and I would really strongly suggest that you look at this, as it provides a detailed description on each of these sections, which I can't do here because honestly we'd be here all afternoon. So look it up there. I further recommend that you print it off so that you can use it to explore your own options and see how these may be used to achieve your objectives if business development is one of those objectives, or if it's the strategies which can be used. Okay, I've deliberately chosen to use links to Wikipedia as I think these may be more accessible or more easily understood by small business owners. You can always research these topics further should you wish to do so, and that is all good too. This area of strategy development is a complex one that is not easily simplified, so I'm not going to attempt to do that here. It is dependent on a large number of variables related to individual organisations, their environments, internal factors, the external competitive market, the wider national economy, and possibly even global trends, if that's relevant. However, the starting place for any strategic work must be with analysis to make sure that decisions are based on the current facts of the market, as it is today. The marketplace, as you will know, is never static, and conditions of even 12 months ago may have changed. This is where we bring in the SWOT analysis, which is SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So the SWOT analysis allows you to look at your internal strengths and weaknesses and to analyse your external threats and opportunities, because the threats and opportunities are always outside the business in the marketplace. Perhaps these two models above from Professors Michael Porter and Igor Ansoff, along with the SWOT framework, may be enough for small business owners to begin with. It's always good to have a place to begin with without getting too technical and too bogged down with things. So part of my practice at MOXY Marketing is strategy consulting. So if you would like to work with me in developing your own strategy or refining strategy that you think is going to be useful, please contact me at MOXY Marketing via the website linked below. Alternatively, you can leave me a comment. While I would like to do justice to the wonderful world of strategy, which I just love, I'm also very wary of overloading you with too much information. So I'm going to try and keep things simple and manageable. It's fair to say that one of the key areas of concern with strategy is the implementation or execution, as it's sometimes called. A business owner or manager needs to ensure that both strategies and tactics are implemented as and when planned, because failure to do so can undermine the success of your business and the achievement of your objectives. Both monthly and quarterly reviews would be ideal, in case you're not familiar with the term quarterly, the calendar year is divided into 4 quarters, each of 3 months. So the first quarter, or Q1, is January, February, March, and so on through the year. So your quarterly reviews would take place in March, June, September, and December. Moving on to tactics. Oxford tells us that a tactic is a method used to achieve something. Again, the words tactics and actions can be used interchangeably. My personal preference is for tactics. So this part is known as the action plan or the tactical plan, and it's where we get down to the details of who, where, what, and when. Okay, so all of the tactics are aligned to serve a particular strategy, and these are aligned to achieving your specific objectives. Each strategy will end up with its own bunch of activities, as there are many possible ways to implement each strategy. A good brainstorming session is a useful place to start. When you look through all the options and get down to a manageable number that will achieve the overall objectives while moving you to the future vision and expressing company values that you hold. In addition, you have to ensure that you have the resources to carry out these activities over the time period that you're working with. Yes, it's a lot. Don't forget the tactical plan includes who's allocated to each action. You may need to schedule your activities consecutively if you are short on manpower, or perhaps hire additional staff as you need them to allocate to specific tasks. For example, hiring an event planner. Alternatively, you may pull in family members or other support people if this is feasible for you. When putting your tactical plan together, it's really important to think in terms of clarity, focus, and discipline. Make sure that all parts of the plan are well thought through and working together. Again, there should be no random activities that are not directly linked into a specific strategy. Once the tactical plan is in place, it can then be transferred to your wall planner, love a wall planner, so that you and others can see the picture of when and where things have been scheduled and who will be working on them. Remember, clarity, focus, and discipline. Okay, have fun putting these 3 ducks together, your objectives, your strategies, and your tactics. If we weren't in total lockdown at the moment, I would like to see if I could find those 3 old porcelain ducks and name each one, but maybe later. Don't worry about getting things perfect the first time round. Just give it your best shot in the planning stage. Give it time and rework it until you're happy with it. Research shows that even a simple strategic plan is of benefit to the company as long as it's well implemented. Okay, so it doesn't have to be overly technical, doesn't have to be overly complicated, as long as you carry it out. Think of this as learning on the job. You can improve as you become more experienced in using management by objectives and in refining your strategic planning. The key thing to know here is that marketing sits within the planning framework of the business. It is not separate from it. It's not kind of out in left field doing its own thing, nor is finance and nor is anything else. It should not follow strategies or objectives which are outside or even opposed to the central business objectives. Okay, sits within this framework. Ultimately, marketing management seeks to achieve the company's objectives. Whether you're looking at products or services, sales or communications, or brand development, they are all ultimately aligned to serve your overall objectives. Indeed, it is the marketing strategies and tactics which deliver most directly on the central mission, vision, and marketing creates the company brand, which is based on your values. Marketing also sits within the social and environmental context, and that could be perhaps the theme of the next video as we come to understand this dynamic and the roles that marketing plays. So, I will be taking a break from YouTube for a few months as I have a project that requires all of my attention. So I'll see you on the other side of that. I think I've given you more than enough to carry on with. My challenge to you is get your ducks in a row. As a final note for this video, I have included a YouTube link to a short 2-minute video that was produced by Saatchi & Saatchi some years ago. It's called Lessons from Geese. It ties in nicely with our ducks in a row theme. You can either use the link below or go to YouTube and search Lessons from Geese. Saatchi & Saatchi have approved this distribution of their video, so there's no copyright issues there. Stay safe, look after yourselves, wear your mask, get vaccinated. Stay safe. Honk honk. Watch the video. You'll be glad you did. Bye for now.